Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, guys. My name is Jakat Zaman. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today is Saturday, and as you know, on Saturdays I do live streams, and this is one of those live streams. Let me just go into Instagram, guys. Right, plug this in. You know what? I feel full, guys. Today I actually went and had a lot of food, so feeling very, very full. Give me a second, guys. Let me just go into this Instagram. Live. Okay, so I hope all of you guys are well, enjoying yourselves, having a nice Saturday. Weather's been very good outside as well. And oh yeah, Curious Cat is back as well. The Curious Cat is back, guys, back on. Okay, so let's go there. Right. Just turn this a bit light, a bit down. Where's the light? Come on. That's better. That's better. All right, so ahlan wa sahlan, guys. Welcome. My name is Jakat Zaman. This is my YouTube channel, Roots of Knowledge. Many of you guys might be familiar with this channel, and many of you guys are probably new to the channel. So if you are new to the channel, please check out my videos, hit the like, subscribe button. In fact, today I actually put up a video of Al-Manfluti. I decided to start from the beginning of the book. All right, so those of you guys who've been following it are going to enjoy the beginning, because the beginning is an introduction to why he wrote the book. So you're going to be learning about that, inshallah. Tahir Mahmoud, alaikum salam. Do you do any face-to-face sessions, any place? Unfortunately, I don't. I'm looking for adult group of learners I can join with. Yeah, unfortunately, Tahir. If there's anyone that knows, where are you from, Tahir? Which part of the UK are you from? So if there's anyone out there who can help, Brother Tahir. Salima, wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan. No one's home, Tahir. Go to sleep. Maryam, wa alaikum assalam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome. Wolverhampton, yes. What I would suggest is if you go to Wolverhampton, the main mosque, is it called Masjid Aqsa? Yeah, Masjid Aqsa. Check out Masjid Aqsa, inshallah. Hopefully they should be able to have something. Or if there's anyone that is from around the Wolverhampton area, Yusuf Tariq, if you know anyone around the area, inshallah, then please help Brother Tahir Mahmoud. Yeah, so today's been a very nice day. I've been doing marking all day, guys. I've been marking. I've been actually made some videos as well. And those of you guys who are on my Patreon, you get access to Qasasun Nabiyyin as well. So I'll put up the next lesson of Qasasun Nabiyyin as well. Yeah, that's basically what I've been doing today. I actually went out with one of my friends today as well for dinner. So alhamdulillah, that was very nice as well. Advice for students of knowledge. So advice for students of knowledge is, I would say, work as hard as you can. Yeah, so if you're a student of knowledge, give it everything that you've got. It's worth it. You know, all the effort that you put into your studies at the time of your studies is a very, very fruitful thing, inshallah, later on, right? One of the things that I look back at when I'm studying, when I was studying, and I wish I had spent more time in keeping contact with my teachers, learning, benefiting from them. That's probably one of the best things I'd say that I really benefit from. Waterloo Road, that's the one, by Malik Butchers, my favorite butchers. Is reciting Surah Kahf on Jummah, is it mustahab or sunnah? So what do you mean by sunnah? Do you mean that it's something that should be done all the time? It's considered mustahab. Yeah, mustahab. Ahmad R. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you explain when is something considered tashabbuh bil kufar and what kind of action? So tashabbuh bil kufar are in two things. In imitating the non-Muslims in their particular religious acts. So if there's a particular religion, like Hindus or Sikhs or Christians, and you imitate them in a particular act, then that is considered to be tashabbuh bil kufar. And number two is deliberately imitating in something in someone in something that's frowned upon by the Sharia, something that is frowned upon by the Sharia, and you imitate the people in doing that. So, for example, like let's say there's a particular craze going around, a trend going around of pranking people, hurting people, which is frowned upon. That's considered to be wrong as well. Wa Jundullah, wa alaikum assalam, my brother Jundullah. Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. Welcome, mashallah. Hope you're well, enjoying yourself in this nice Birmingham weather. NS, wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. If a mature person gives his female cousin and her daughter a lift 70 miles while he's accompanied by a friend, is this allowed? Is Shar'i Safar a course? So, what I would suggest is that generally the rule is that a woman should not travel without her mahram or her husband with her, accompanying her. If that is difficult for her to be able to have, then as long as she's in a group of people that there is safe, that nothing bad is going to happen, then that would be permissible. If my brother came into my mom's house to live with us, and he also has a dog, but I can't do anything to get rid of it because my family is kuffar, does that mean my salam won't get accepted? No, it will get accepted, inshallah. According to the Maliki madhab, the dog saliva is fine. So therefore, to make it easy for you, acting upon that opinion would be permissible. And that also means the angels. So yeah, so this dog is about that dog which is in your control. Right? So that dog is in your control. So this is not in your control, clearly. So it's fine. Like I don't let the dog in my bedroom, I keep it out. That's fine. Also, in my house, there's portraits of people, but nothing in my bedroom. Yes, that's fine. As long as in your bedroom, you keep them out, it's fine. But does that mean angels don't? Inshallah, they will come. Jundullah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Very well, Sheikh. Hope you're well. I'm very well. Thank you very much. Alhamdulillah. I've been wearing my new top, guys. My new red top, as you can see. And I've been training. I remember telling you, the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been training every single day, alhamdulillah. Yeah, doing weights, side weights, every single day. So, alhamdulillah, feeling very energetic. Definitely, I would encourage people 15, 20 minutes of lifting weights a day. Very, very good. Gives you a lot of energy, focus as well. I found that, alhamdulillah. Because normally I would feel lethargic in the middle of the day. Feel lethargic, feel like going to sleep or something. But alhamdulillah, this helps a lot. Yeah, definitely would encourage all you guys out there, to do some sort of training. Jazakallah khair, Esbasha, Jazakallah khair. Alhamdulillah. I don't know how long it's going to last once Ramadan comes in, out of the window. But yeah, I've got a charity ride coming up. Inshallah, I'm going to put the details up on my Telegram and on my social media. I'm doing it for Cage. So the Cage is an organization in the UK, headed by a guy called Muazzam Beg, and basically he was one of the Guantanamo Bay prisoners, and he was freed, and now he's fighting for justice now. So justice for people, especially Muslims, who are being oppressed, or things that governments are implementing. So he kind of he's running that organization. And that organization on a yearly basis needs funds because the banks won't allow them to have funds, right? Unfortunately, because they're all kind of ganging up on those people who want to speak up against oppression. So the banks are basically put a ban on them having accounts and collecting money. So we have to collect it for them, inshallah. So I'm going to do a 50 mile ride, inshallah. I think it's 40, but from my house, it's going to be about almost 50 miles ride for charity, inshallah, for them. Mufti, are you an iPhone? So I've got an Android. This is my Android phone. Yeah, as you can see, Android phone here. I've got my 20-pound note in the back. I keep 20-pound notes in the back of my phone just in case, like, I don't have my wallet with me or something and they don't accept cards. So just in case, just keep it there. I don't know. Do you guys keep anything in your phone as well? Do you use your phone as a safekeeping gadget? Okay, so Curious Cat is back, guys. So let's check out your questions on Curious Cat as well. Let's see if there's anything that you guys have been asking. Okay, there's no question. I think I've answered all the questions. Yeah, I think Curious Cat has been answered. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Ya Allah. Right. So yes, so I am a Samsung guy. I'm a Samsung. I like keeping Samsung phones. I think I'm used to this layout of the Samsung phone, so that's why I enjoy using that. I'm not too keen on using iPhones, even though I've got an iPad and I've got my Mac. Um, Apples are good in the sense they're very easy to use, and also they're very sort of safe from malware and viruses. So that's why I'm very keen to have that, because the old laptops I used to have, they used to, like, I remember so often you had to update the virus software, and then malware and this and that, sluggish. The computers become slow. I'm not too much of that fan. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Naweed, ahlan wa sahlan. What do to do when your last ayah is a sajda tilawa ayah during a rak'ah? Yes, so if your last ayah, then you just go into ruku with the intention of sajda, and that sajda would suffice. So that sajda would suffice for your normal sajda, and it would also suffice for your sajda tilawa. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. DJ DD, ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, my brother. Yeah, so that would suffice for that. Alhamdulillah. So yeah, I want to show you guys an app that I use on this is my iPad. I'll show you guys an app, a really good app that I use for when I'm doing my videos for that Malfaluti and all that. So this is basically the app. Right. So this app, let me just show you guys. If you guys can see there. You guys can't see it. So this is basically the app is. So it's this one over here. Yeah. This is the app. Yeah. So this app is good for teaching, like very, very good. So for example, like let's say Manfluti, yeah. So this is how the layout of the app is. It's like that. You got a record button, you can write on the screen, obviously, and then you can edit the recording, and then you process the video. So the good thing about this is that this is really, really good for recording. The reason I say that is because I've used it quite a lot. And this one actually does not only records what's in that box, so you're in control of what's being seen, and then you can sort of like increase the image, make the image small. Only downfall I would say so far, I don't know how I'm going to figure this out, but the image quality is not like really, really crisp. That's the only thing. So this app, I actually found it online. Apparently some Muslim guy was showing this app how to use it, and that's where I really learned. So it's called Explain Basics. It's called Explain Basics, right? You got to pay for it. It's a paid app, so I had to pay for this app. It is a free version as well, but it's got limited features. But it just has a lot of nice boards, backgrounds. So like it's got some these logos there as well that you can see, that you can have these little small little images that you can put in there as well, make it a bit more interactive, nice. If you play about with it, I'm sure you can do loads with it. But I just use it for those videos, and it's just good for screen, because I try to use a lot of things. Mac has, or iPad has also its own screen recorder as well. That's good, but the only problem is it records everything on the screen, every little bit. And that you don't need all that, because it distracts the viewer. So you just want that thing which you want them to see. And the writing is very nice as well. It's like very clean when you write, responsive. Yeah. You're welcome, S. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, which scholars are now regarded as authority in our madhab when a new issue arises or when issuing a global fatwa? So there's many scholars. I mean, the ones that you're probably familiar with is like Mufti Taqi Usmani, Mufti Khalid Saifur Rahman, Khalid Saifullah Rahmani, people like Mullah Fadl Rahman A'zami, Mufti Rada al-Haq, and then from amongst the Arabs, there's many as well. Yeah, Sheikh Lu'ay Abul Khalil, Jordan, and Dr. Salah Abul Hajj, Jordan. Yeah, these are some of the ones that come to my mind. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is there anything such as sunnah clothing in Islam? For example, the thobe Is this more of an Arab culture dress? Yes, it's more of a cultural dress. The Sunnah clothing is basically to cover your body and not to show any of your aura, and that clothing does not resemble the clothing of any other religion. Yeah, that's the Sunnah clothing basically. So long as you got something which is like decent to wear, you're not sort of like being too extravagant in your clothing, you're not too revealing of your aura, your nakedness, then it's okay. And as for the thobe and the shalwar kameez and other clothing that Muslim countries predominantly wear, those are considered to be just generally like they're good because they fulfill the criteria, but they are not specifically things that you have to wear. Wa alaikum assalam, Ibn Adam. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother Ibn Adam. Hope you're well. What should a Muslim female do if her job requires her to be in a khalwa with the opposite gender, like being a therapist? Yeah, so that would be permissible in those situations because those are situations which are professional. I would say they are professional settings where the chances of there something bad happening or her being molested or anything like that would be very, 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 very unlikely. Assalamu alaikum, ahlan wa sahlan, Hamim. In Sirat al-Mustafa, it mentions zakat was not due on the wealth of prophets. Is that correct? Yes. Yeah, that would be correct. Yeah, because the prophet's mal would always be given to the public anyway. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Ma tarakna sadaqa. Whatever we left behind was charity anyway. Yeah, so whatever we left behind was considered to be charity. I was told that the Hanafi madhab has no clear mu'tamad after fall of Ottoman Khalifa. The Shamis differ with the Turks and the subcontinental Indian. So there is mu'tamad, but there is not a universal mu'tamad. There's not a mu'tamad. So this obviously, Naveed, requires you to study ifta. Ifta and takhassus, when you study that, you begin to understand what the whole point of mu'tamad means. What is this concept? It's a very long discussion. So I don't really have time now to discuss it. You always ask questions which require like 20, 30 minutes whole discussions. I teach ifta takhassus, and this is what we discuss in there. It's about, if you want to read a book on this, what I would suggest is a book called تكوين المذهب الحنفي. تكوين المذهب الحنفي by al-Bakdash, yeah, Sheikh Bakdash, and he has written a very good extensive understanding of how Hanafis have used like the relied upon position in the school. What does that mean? Does that mean there is no relied upon? Is there a relied upon position? It's not a black and white answer. To continue, so wearing a thobe will not be more rewarding. That's correct. Yeah. So as long as the normal clothing is going to fulfill the criteria, as in when you go into sajda, you're not revealing parts of your body that are going to look very, very, curved and shaped, then the thobe would be better, definitely. Yeah, tracksuit for comfort, that's fine. Yeah. SK wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan. If I heard if you see something good on someone else, you should say Allah barik, and if there's something good for yourself, you say. I have not come across the difference of that. If you want to say them like that, is fine, but they're both fine to say. MashaAllah is fine. Allahumma barik is fine. There's nothing the scholars, to my knowledge, have differentiated between the two. Barakallahu for the answer, Ustad. What do you say about the Turkish and some Indian Hanafi scholars who allow interest-based mortgages? Possibly. I mean, that's an opinion where there's plausibility there. Possibly. You mean for like in Dar al-Harb, you mean, yeah? So you're talking about Dar al-Harb in a non-Muslim land? Yeah, there is like some sort of like understanding of where they're coming from. Although I don't incline towards that position. We need people like you to help the poor and orphan. If you can help us with food and water, may Allah help all of our Muslim brothers and sisters around the world who are suffering, who are in difficulty. Hamza Khan, I've heard through you should I heard though you should dress when praying or in masjid in front of Allah, you should dress appropriately as if you were dressing for a king. Yeah, so you should dress as though you're dressing, they say, as you would dress outside, outdoors, in public. So if you were going to go to city center, for example, or if you're going to go to some sort of like a public function, what would you wear over there? That's what you should wear for salat. That's what this is, based on the verse of the Quran, that خُذُوا زِينَتَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مَسْجِدٍ خُذُوا زِينَتَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مَسْجِدٍ. Yeah, hold fast to your clothing or wear those clothing which you consider to be ornamental clothing that you'd wear in public. That's the idea. Yeah, so like Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they used to wear, obviously in the salat, go to the masjid, the clothes that they're going to wear out in public. Yeah, because that's basically, if you are comfortable enough to wear that clothes in public, then you should be comfortable enough to wear it in front of Allah. That's the idea. And then clothing that you are embarrassed to wear in public, you should be embarrassed to wear it in front of Allah. Yeah, so you should basically try and be conscious of your position in front of Allah. Yeah, how you stand in front of Allah and how you do things, basically, all of that. Just forget my tea. Very nice. So it's licorice, peppermint, and licorice tea. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So if anyone is shy to ask questions on here, you can ask questions on Curious Cat. Yeah. So Curious Cat. If you're shy to ask questions, you don't want your name to come up, then you can ask questions. You can also ask Q's anonymously. Keep forgetting how to spell anonymously. There you go. Right. Salam. If pet cat urinates on, say, a mat, is it compulsory to wash and squeeze? We wash once with detergent powder or soap for it to pure. So yes, you would have to wash it. So basically, the way that you wash it is you pour water over the mat, and then you get a dry cloth, and then you go over it, and then you pour some more water, and then you dry. So you're trying to imitate the idea of washing it and squeezing it. So you can't squeeze a mat; it's hard, but you can do that. Or if you go on those fancy hoovers that suck up water, that you pour water on it, wash it, suck it up, and do it 3 times, that would suffice as well. Isn't it strange to have buy a mortgage when you're in the harb? Allah knows best. Ustad, if playing with dice and chess in hadith aren't allowed, don't you think in today's timing the usage of devices could have a similar? So yeah, so there's a difference of opinion from early Hanafis and later Hanafis with regards to the whole concept of playing games. There's clearly a difference. So early Hanafis, because the culture was not a game culture, and most people that used to play games were associated with gambling, that's why it was prohibited. And then that's why the later Hanafis like Sheikh Abdul Hadi Nablusi and others have said, as long as there's no gambling involved, as long as there's no fighting involved, as long as it does not hamper with any of your obligations to Allah and others, then it's permissible. Yeah, so that would be the ruling for games. Have you found value in any Western self-help books? Yes, definitely. I think, see, the thing people don't realize is when you read books is not just to give you information. Books sometimes, it's sort of like slowly, without you realizing it expands your understanding, experience of life. Other people's experience you share, and so you get that advantage of sort of like seeing things that haven't happened to you through secondhand experience. And that is very good. I think that's very good in a lot of things. It helps you to save yourself from a lot of blunders that people have made. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys not agree with me? Huzaifa, alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. With takbir tahrima, is it a must to raise hands up to earlobes and touch the earlobes with thumbs? No, you don't. There's no way in the early Hanafi they say touch the earlobes. The issue is you just raise your hands up to your ears like this. Yeah. So you raise your hands up to your ears. That's it. So that's basically. So this has come in the hadith, and this has come in the hadith. All right. And some Hanafis say you do in between. If you don't raise your hands in salat, if you raise it up to here, your salat will still initiate. Yeah, Hanafi said this is awla, this is better than this. Even though if you do it like this, it will be done. Please, can you briefly describe the Prophet ﷺ dress attire? So the Prophet he wore various types of things. Commonly, he wore like the ihram. So if you've ever seen people going for Hajj and they wear the ihram, that's what he normally kind of wore. He wore a lungi or a izar at the bottom, which is a loincloth, and he wore on top, he wore like a shawl on top. That was his predominant dress that he would wear. And sometimes he'd wear a qamis on top as well, a qamis and then izar. He never, according to narrations, has worn trousers. So if you want to follow the sunnah, you don't wear trousers. Yeah, that's the clothing. And he used to like wearing red like this. Yeah, he used to like wearing red. So red was his favorite color. Wa alaikum assalam. Ahla wa sahlan, brother Abd Rahman. I will call you Abdul Rahman because only Allah is Rahman. Brother Abdul Rahman. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair. What are your thoughts on Sayyid Ramadan Bhuti excluding his political views? Very good, mashallah. His books, I mean, I would definitely recommend to people who know Arabic to follow his series on what is it called? Al-Kibrit al-Kawniya, is it called? Anyone remember what it's called? Ramadan, let me just find it for you. Definitely recommend it. It's very, very. Because he was an expert in his field, without a doubt. Ramadan, Bhuti. Yeah, Kubra al-Yaqiniyat, that's the one. Kubra al-Yaqiniyat. Yeah, Kubra al-Yaqiniyat. So it's a book. Yeah, so it's a book by Sheikh Ramadan Bhuti, and then he explains it in his YouTube, which I think is very good. Like, he's very eloquent. His Arabic is very easy to follow. Okay. Abu, can someone ask my question as he can't see mine? Don't know. Did you ask a question? Yeah, if you can't answer, if you can't ask your questions here, you can ask your questions on Curious Cat. On Curious Cat, you can ask your questions, inshallah. All right. Or you might have put a word in that question which is being blocked. Since smiling is part of a Muslim's adab, should Muslim men and women who are not married to each other smile at each other? So if it's going to cause fitna, if you know most likely it's going to lead to some other things, then no. No. Will my cat Simba go to Jannah with me? Allah knows best. I was studying Maraq al-Falah and I came across a masala about istinja. Because if a person didn't perform istinja for a long period of time because they were unaware of the necessity to do so, would their prayers be accepted? Inshallah, it will. Inshallah. Yeah. MSP, should Jummah be prayed with a small congregation, maybe 5 or 6 in a college uni event, even though there isn't it? Jummah should be yes. I would say, look, people should only resort to having a small Jum'ah if there is no way for them to get access to a masjid, and it's gonna be something that's gonna be regular. So if there's an organization, a company, or a school, college, and they know they won't be able to go to a masjid, then only for them should they do a Jum'ah. Otherwise, they should pray Zuhr, because Jum'ah is meant to be a public gathering. The whole point is a public gathering. Assalamu alaikum, Mukhtar. Ahlan wa sahlan. I thought in the Hanafi madhab wearing red is haram for men. Can you? Yes. So, according to Hanafi madhab, there are 3 opinions about wearing red. One of the opinions is considered makruh tahrimi, unless it has different colors in there. So, like, for example, this is not pure red. This got like a bit of black in there, as you can see. There's a bit of black in there. The second opinion is that it's considered to be makruh tanzihi. It's better not to wear. Third opinion is considered to be mustahab. Yeah, it's actually considered recommended to wear. This is the opinion of the author of Maraqi al-Falah, Al-Imam Shurumbullah. He has a whole treatise that he's written on this. He considers it to be recommended, he says. Those are the opinions. Is it allowed to sit at a table where alcohol is drunk? So it would be allowed, yes. The prohibition the Prophet ﷺ mentioned is to do with private gatherings in your homes or in private settings where people on your table, you've invited them and you've provided alcohol for them. That wouldn't be allowed. Is orange color makruh or haram for men? Which other colors? So generally they say saffron color. Yeah, saffron color. Red and saffron color. Is it true that cousins marrying each other is not recommended in Islam? No, that's not true. What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on modern scholars of Kalam like Hassan Spiker? I don't know Hassan Spiker, and Sayyid Naqib Attas, the modern Akabrin. I haven't read much of their work, so I wouldn't be able to say. So is it due to ignorance that the prayer is accepted? Yes, it'll be due to ignorance. Najis may have been, and so there would be some. So in these situations, whenever someone has done something out of ignorance in the past, the scholars would try to look for an opinion that would allow their salats to be valid. And then from then on, if they were to do it again, then they would have to repeat their salat. How ignorance works in hand is that, just like I said now. Can you wear a chain and earring for a man? No. What is the position on the obligation of attending the Jum'ah prayer in the Dar al-Kufr? I heard the Hanabila and Shafi'iyya are lenient in that regard. So this position will be the same as a position anywhere. Yeah, that person must attend. It's considered obligatory to attend unless it's very difficult for them to be able to attend because work doesn't allow it or something of that nature. I heard magicians wear red to attract the shayateen. I've never heard that before, Gandalf. I don't know which source you got that from, but I've never come across that. Could you explain the hadith من لبس ثوب شهرة في الدنيا ألبسه الله ثوب مذلة يوم القيامة? So that hadith basically means whoever wears clothing to show off in front of people, shuhra, like they deliberately wear their clothes. Like so some people there'll be some guys who will deliberately wear a designer jacket just to show off in front of their mates that they can afford to buy this kind of stuff to make them feel bad. Or like some ladies will deliberately buy some handbag or something just to kind of show off that they've got, I don't know, Prada, or they've got something. That is considered to be sinful. So whoever wears thawb shuhra, then on the day of judgment, Allah will recompense them with humiliation. May Allah save us. What kind of clothes are these? Are shuhra. Shuhra means basically anything that you wear with your intention is to show off in front of people. The saying Rabbana lakal hamd in place of Rabbana likal hamd. I mean, it'd be fine. I mean, it's like kind of an Arabic. It's technically done, but it's not the Arabic way of saying it's valid. What's your opinion on Ashraf Ali Tanvi dangerous reply? In heavily man. Allah knows. Huzaifa, you sound like a fitna guy. Yeah, you sound like a fitna guy who doesn't like Mullah Ashraf Ali Tanvi. Mullah Ashraf Tanvi, I like him a lot. Yeah, so I like his books. I like the works that he's done. So if you don't like him, then that's your opinion. Can you make profit reasonable amount for processing a qurbani such as udhiya? Possibly, yeah, you can. Maybe the source Brother Gandalf used is Lord of the Rings. What names of Allah Azza wa Jal when attached with Abdul can we only say in the second name? So Allah, Ar-Rahman, and also, yeah, these two are the ones that come to mind. I think there's one more as well. Allah and Rahman and Al-Quddus, yeah, 3. So Allah, Rahman, and Quddus, and all the others, you can say them without abd. Is there any hadith hinting on the time span between major prophets, few thousand years? Is there any hadith hinting on the time span between major prophets, few thousand years, or some Muslims quote from Israeliyat? I haven't come across anything to prove that the authenticity of the dates. So we have no idea when Nuh alayhi salam came, basically. He could have come a few thousand years ago. He could have come, 20, 30, 40,000 years ago. We don't know. Sorry, no worry. You're welcome, my brother. No apologies accepted. So Mullah Ashraf Ali Thanwi, I think a lot of people, when they hear of Mullah Ashraf Ali Thanwi, first of all, they don't read his books properly, or they hear it from sources from people who already have hatred in their heart for him. It's like, for example, Mullah Ahmad Raza Khan. There's some people who will quote him and they'll have hatred for him from before, and they'll quote his works and they'll just have hatred, right? And that's the same thing that happens. So usually between Brelvis and Deobandis, there's a lot of Brelvis who hate Mullah Ashraf Ali Thanwi, so they'll accuse him. There's a lot of Deobandis who hate Mullah Ahmad Raza Khan and they'll just accuse him. So sadly, the sad thing is they don't read the books properly and they just hear it from each other and it becomes like a cult kind of thing, right? That they just stick into what their cult says and they're just happy about, may Allah save us. But end of the day, we're going to be questioned by Allah. We're not the people who are saying these kind of things, they're going to be questioned or we're going to be questioned as well. So we've got to be careful as Muslims. We don't say things out of line. Can you name your child Abdul Izzah? Al-Izzah. Abdul Izzah. Is it Izzah, yeah? Slave of Izzah. So it would you can name them, but it would be considered makruh, I would say. Yeah, slave of Izzah. Yeah, it wouldn't be a name that would be befitting a Muslim. I actually spoke to a Hanafi scholar who mentioned magicians wear red top to bottom as this is appealing to the shayateen when doing black magic. I have no idea. I mean, maybe he's got connections with some magicians, so maybe he knows, but nothing in the Quran or Hadith from my knowledge. As it is difficult in the UK to change names in UK, would it be necessary for a person with a surname like Rahman Razak to change their name, or would it be permitted to just call them by that name? So what I would suggest is, if it's difficult to change your documents, tell people to call you by Abdul Rahman. Like tell people, say, look, can you call me Abdul Rahman? Yeah, or you can have a name that they call you by, and in your documents you can have another name. A lot of people do that. I know a lot of scholars who'll have in the documents a name, and then when people call in them, they have a name. Yeah, so that would be permissible. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. Isn't it true that if the ism of Allah is a superlative, I think it's called fa'al, then it's prohibited? I haven't come across anything like that. Because in Arabic you have words which are, it's possible. I mean, possible. I haven't come across anything like that. If you could maybe show me a text or something, I can look into it, inshallah. But the thing is, Arabs have like names, even from before, they have names which are superlative names. A lot of people have superlative names. So it wouldn't necessarily mean that they like someone called themselves Sami'a. So Sami is technically what we call a sifa mushabbaha. Yeah, or you know, yeah, something of that nature. But it wouldn't be like sinful necessarily. It might not be good to have that kind of name. But maybe if you find something, I can look into it. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Which is a priority to doing during the auspicious times of the day? To do dhikr, e.g. kalima tayyiba, or to invoke forgiveness from Allah? All day, and most auspicious times are after Asr, after Fajr, and at Tahajjud time. I live in the US and would like to study further. Would you then recommend studying in a Darul Uloom close to home? What I would suggest is study, first of all, study what the basics of Arabic, like master the Arabic properly close to home. Then after that, when you want to study the higher subjects, go to a place where there's experts there. Yeah, so the first few years, it would be fine to study at home. In your local area, find someone who's good in their Arabic, teaches you Nahu, Sarf, Arabic literature. That's what you want to focus on in the first few years. And then after that, you want to start focusing on the higher subjects, and those require experts. Yeah, definitely, I would say. And a lot of people think they have to travel abroad and study all their studies abroad. I don't think that, you know, it's not something which you have to do, right? Some people will study in the past, like scholars will study locally, and then they would only study the last couple of years in a madrasa. Darul Buffalo. Love to share. Ameen, Ibn Adam. Are there old Arabic novels written that you know of, or is that a new thing? Yes, there are. In fact, there's a whole genre of them, of classical Arabic novels, but they're not written like the novels of how we understand novels in today's times. Yeah, they are like, you have drama plays that were written in the past. You have stories. There's actually a book called by Jahid. Jahid is a famous scholar, a linguist or a adib in the 200s, and he wrote, extensively on stories. Arab stories were usually very short. They weren't very long stories like the kind of novels that we have nowadays. Yeah, but they are, and you can find lots. I would definitely recommend, if you go to a website called Hindawi, they've got lots of free literature in Arabic. And they've translated a lot of modern stuff as well. So Hindawi, it's called Hindawi. Hindawi. And these guys have a lot of, it's all about reading, isn't it? Uh, okay, so Hindawi. Arabic. The problem is, I read the Masla in Ibn Kathir's Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya when he talked about Musaylama al-Kadhab, Rahman. Throughout the book, he gives Shafi fatwa, so I don't know the Hanafi. I see. Where the people of Ad, were the people of Ad or Thamud huge giants were able to? So there's actually a good book on this that you can read about the height of Adam alayhi salam by Mufti Muntasir Zaman. So we don't have any categorical evidence that they were giants. Like there's no authentic hadith that say that they were giants, tall, really high. Yeah, we don't have that. That's the thing. Can you recommend some Arabic cartoon or series? Yes, so what I would suggest if you go onto YouTube and type in, just type in Qasas Atfal, Qasas Atfal, and you will find loads. Yeah, you'll find literally loads of them. What are your thoughts on the traditional Akabirin tradition that which Maulana Abdul Rahman Jami laid out for doctrines of? I understand there was also, I don't know. I'm not too familiar with that. You'll have to ask someone who is. What are the sources or to find the chain of narrators for a head? Just Hamza, just on a side note, I would say, look, there's people out there who are searching for the best way of studying or the best curriculum. I think that's a waste of time. That's my own personal opinion. As long as you study the main subjects that need to be studied, right? All these subjects you're studying are like gateway studies to access a plethora of knowledge. That's what it is. When you study with a scholar, you are not going to study all the books. You can't. Your lifetime doesn't allow that. You don't have enough years. So you study basically. Imagine it's like, the what you study is like a cup in the ocean. You study the cup, and then the ocean is left to you. Right. That's your own research and your studies. So when scholars graduate, a lot of people think scholars study all the ilm. They don't. Scholars will study a fraction, and then everything else, right? They'll study 1%, and then everything at 99% is up to them now if they want to further read it. There's some people who study in darulooms and madrasas, and they only study a fraction, and then they don't bother reading anything else, and that's it. And people think they're knowledgeable people. And there are some people who will graduate, and they will the rest of their lives they just spend, you know, productively reading and writing and researching, and that is, I think, which what I really want to aspire to. That's my aim in life. So I think there's no magical curriculum. I would say the best thing to do is just to focus on mastering Arabic grammar, then focusing on fiqh, focusing on hadith studies, usul studies, Quran studies, and then that's it. That's what would be the best thing to do, my personal opinion. I mean, maybe you disagree with me, that's fine. I don't mind. But there were many curriculums that were in the past, many. So, for example, the ulama of Deoband, they simply preserved a particular curriculum out of the many curriculums that were found in history. Because it was only built because to protect the knowledge, a systematic way of protecting knowledge from the onslaught of the occupiers, the colonists. That's what it was. So they didn't have time to go and really kind of do a PhD, 10, 15-year PhD on what's the best curriculum. They just saw what was there in India, and they just brought it together, and they just started. So people think this is a magical curriculum, and whoever does this is only way they can become a scholar. I think that's not necessarily true. What are the sources to find the chain of narrators for a hadith? So what you need to do, Zed Melor, is do my series, do my Usul Hadith series. You can email at the bottom. You'll get access to it, and then you can follow that. In there, I explain. Sheikh, who is your favorite classical scholar? If you had to want to pick one, exemption of the very early scholar Abu Hanifa, I would say Al-Izz ibn Abd salam is one of them. His student, Al Al-Izz ibn Abd salam, and Ibn Daqiq al-Eid. Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, he is also one as well. I think possibly Imam Ibn Humam would definitely be one. And so many, it's difficult for me to choose. Yeah, difficult for me to choose. Imam Sarakhsi Mabsut. Sarakhsi would be very good. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say, bro. It's a very tough question. What would you say? Mufti Sahib, what did Maulana Tanvi specialize in? Was he a Sufi or he was both? So he was a very good faqih. Like if you read his fiqh works, you can see the depth of his understanding of the Hanafi madhab. His Bayan al-Quran is very good, very good. Like if you are very, very into tafsirs and a lot of research, when you read his Bayan al-Quran, you can see how much reading he's done for it. And when it comes to like his writings on just adab these kind of things, very deep. Like this guy, I think if his works were to be translated into English, you would really appreciate how he really thinks about problems in society and how he overcomes them. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. This is something I heard the other day. Someone asked him about like, someone asked him about, someone asked him about what's adab, like what's having adab with someone. He said adab is bringing ease to other people. That's what adab is. So if you really think about that, is a profound statement. That is because when we think about adab, we think you have to stand in a certain way, have your hands in a certain way, look in a certain way down. You know, those kind of like adab kind of things that we think it's all about being like frozen, right, motionless. But in reality, what is adab? Like if you look at Sahaba, how did they behave in front of the Prophet ﷺ or in front of others? It was about bringing ease to other people, yeah, giving other people like aram, yeah, so that you don't give them taklif, difficulty. That's what adab is. And if one understands that is what adab is, life will become so easy. People just say, look, some people are doing too much takalluf in just trying to behave abnormally, and they call it adab. That's not adab. That's just like, I don't know, adab on steroids. Does that make sense? That's like one example. There's another example. I remember reading this one. So what happened was once Mullah Sayyid Suleiman Nadawi, right, who has a famous book on Sirah, famous. He was a murid of his, and he asked him. He wrote a letter, and he said, I want to follow the Quran and Sunnah. Like I don't feel like following a madhab. I want to follow Quran and Sunnah. Would I be wrong in doing that? So Mullah Ashraf Ali Thani replied to him and said, if you're sincere in what you are saying, like if you're really sincere, I wouldn't see a problem in that. And look at that. That's a very deep understanding of someone. Yeah, like he's not kind of saying no, imposing a madhab on him. He knew when I say Sulaiman Nadawi was a very, very erudite scholar. Um, so he just said to him, look, if you are sincere and you are like someone who will do the work and research, then I wouldn't see a problem. So there's lots of like really nice things that he's said, very thought provoking things. Um, have you heard of volume books called Al Jawhar Tanayara? Yes, this is a commentary of Quduri. Yeah, commentary, very very good commentary of Quduri by Al Haddadi. In Jannah, where we shall all be together, inshallah. Ameen. Will our human bodies be in different forms, as I believe it is mentioned in Surah Waqiyah? That's what Mufassirin say. Yeah, that Allah is going to create us in a form which is unlike the form of the dunya. It's going to be like a different form. That. What do you know about the level of knowledge within the Taliban, since they are all kind of studied and graduate? Allah knows best. I don't know. Yeah. So again, look, I think people look when it comes to groups like Taliban or when it comes to other types of groups, I think people put them in too much extremes. There's going to be like the die-hard fans of Taliban and think that they are after the Sahaba. It's just them. You can't say anything bad about them. You can't criticize them. These are the sincere. They can read their hearts. They know what's in their hearts. They know how many what's this good deeds they've gone. I think that's silly. That's just fanboys there. And then you have the other extreme who just dismiss them totally and say these people are just radical and all that blah blah blah. So I think we have to understand any person in life, whether it's a scholar, whether it's anyone, they are all human beings at the end of the day. They are trying to just do the best, we hope, with the knowledge that they've achieved. And Taliban are simply just a group of people. They were students. Some of them are scholars. They saw crime in their community. Imagine, like for example, we're in our community. We saw crime in our community, and we got up and we said, right, we're going to do something now because police aren't doing anything. Government's not doing anything. It's all in shambles. So we decided to guard our own streets, and then that started to work. And then we decided, you know what, we're gonna increase it. We're gonna guard other people's streets as well, and other people joined us. And then eventually, all the whole of Birmingham decided, right, you know what, we're gonna start to apply our own sort of martial law here. And then we started applying our own martial law. It worked as well. Crime dropped. People felt safe, and so slowly as time goes by, what happens is people start to become, and that's in the olden days, that's exactly what used to happen around the world when there was lawlessness, right? So Taliban are simply just, you know, replicating that model there. And because people think, the West obviously has their own special measure, they want everyone to fit in that measure, and anyone who doesn't, then that person is called backwards or radical or whatever. Then that's unfortunately what happens. Yeah. So I think there's good in them, and I think there's also a lot of things that they need to really revise and think about. Again, I'm not perfect. I can't really speak too much because I'm not involved in that field. Someone might say, "Oh, but you're not living in their country. You don't know how things are. You don't know the situation. You don't know what they're going through and the pressures and all that." That's true, and that's what I'm saying to you. What is the meaning of Khalifa? Khalifa means someone who comes after someone, successor. Yeah, Khalifa means successor, someone who comes after them, called the Khalifas. What do the UK ulama think about Sheikh Abdul Hakim Murad? Yeah, very. I mean, I've met him. Seems like someone who is very knowledgeable person, very sort of like outwardly pious person. Alhamdulillah. Best place to buy books like the one I mentioned from online in the UK. And is there a specific way in knowing which copy or edition books? I don't know too much about editions or books, but what I would suggest, if you're on social media, try to get in contact with Ismail bookstores. Yeah, Ismail, Maktaba Ismail, bookstore. They would probably know which are the best. And also people like Mufti Hussein Kododia. If you're on social media on Twitter, he's on there. You can ask him if there's any specific books or he's got a list of books that he can tell you. Yeah, these are the people that know about them. I'm not too familiar with the best editions at the moment. Gandalf, I agree with your point on adab. Some people act so abnormally strict when it's out of their normal character, which make the situation. Yeah, exactly. I'm 100% agree. I think sometimes you just got to be yourself. People think practicing people have to act like robots, right? You have to act strange. You have to like not speak too much. You can't relax, chill out. So that's the thing with that, guys. This is a nice tea, This is peppermint, licorice, and peppermint tea. Very nice. Okay, so let's see. Curious cat. Okay, Curious cat. Please, can you answer this live? I am a sister, and sometimes I want to get married, but scared to tell anyone. I am scared my family will think I'm desperate, or how they will react, or think of me. I make dua, but I am not taking any action. So this is like a common question that a lot of people have. This is not just for one sister. There's a lot of people, brothers out there, and they're very embarrassed and shy to tell their family that they want to get married because they think that their family might think that they are, I don't know, some predators or something, or they've got some sexual abnormality. So, nothing in life is ever going to happen if you stay quiet. Remember that. That's a major rule of life. If you ever stay quiet and think something's going to happen, it's not going to happen, right? You have to take the first step. You have to make some sort of first move. Tell family or get someone tell your family. Speak to them. It's going to be that first hit is going to be embarrassing, but you have to remember if that first hit doesn't happen, you're not going to go further. You're just going to stay as you are, right? So you have to, bite the bullet, take a deep breath and just go and just tell your parents or I don't know, write a letter and send it to your parents and say, look, your daughter wants to get married and, please can you sort something out for her? Yeah, something like that. So, like, think of some idea and you got to tell them. And there's so many people, unfortunately, out there who are too shy and it just becomes so difficult for them to be able to take the first step. Yeah, I would definitely say, first step you have to take. There is no other advice I can give you, honestly. I can say to you, make dua, and you probably are making loads of dua. But in life, you have to take the first step. Right. Next question. Okay. ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة. Does your usul program have exam assessment? You mean on the Uruk one? I can make an exam assessment if you want. Yeah, I can make that's possible. I accidentally added salihat in salah to this verse. Is my salah valid? Yes, it's valid because it hasn't changed the meaning drastically. Which program do you offer via email? So if you check my uruk.com, I have lots of courses on there. Yeah, uruk.com. Uruk.com. Yeah, so you check on there. I've got lots of courses that you can. And yesterday I actually went through the course and I explained what the course is all about. Interesting view you have on Taliban. I agree. It's not all black and white. Aside from politics, I was interested in their general level of Islamic knowledge, but difficult to say, of course. Yeah, I mean, they're just average people. They're not specialists in things, I would say. They're not specialists. They spend so much of their time in fighting and things, and they're probably specialists at guerrilla warfare. Do you know if Maulana Shah Ashkashi was pro or against partition of India? I know there was some disagreement between some ulama and Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi in particular. I can't remember. I think he was pro. Yeah. So he was pro. He died. His student Maulana Ashraf, and that's why some say they split off. They split off from Deoband and they went to Dabel and taught over there. Allah knows. Maybe someone has more information on that. Do the programs cost? Yes. Is it true that the Prophet ﷺ only prayed the Sunan in the masjid once or twice, as Anwar Shah Kashmiri mentions? Yes. In fact, that was the Prophet ﷺ encouraged the Sahaba to pray their Sunnahs at home. Yeah, he encouraged the Sahaba to pray their Sunnahs at home. And that's how in fact, we only have, in Ma'rif Sunan, Sheikh Yusuf bin Nuri mentions, there's only probably 2 or 3 incidents that's recorded that the Prophet ﷺ prayed Sunnahs in the masjid. Sheikh Mahmoud Al-Mudu alaykum salam. I am at like approx level 2 of Arabic, struggling with the lack of vocab. Should I try to read? Yes, I would suggest, brother Sheikh Mahmoud, to read Arabic stories. Kid stories are the best thing. Honestly, they are a wonder. So if you go to a website called Hindawi, Hindawi, and just type in their children's or atfal, you'll find like the list of kids' books you can read. Is it true that the Prophet in regards to the brother who said he added salihat in salah, wouldn't it depend on the ayah that he recited? Yeah, so the ayah that he recited, he showed the ayah. ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة. That's the verse. With our 5 daily salah, are some better to pray soon as it starts or to pray later, for example? So what I would suggest, Gandalf, is you look at your situation. Yeah, normally the Hanafi say they have, like, you follow the timetable. They say Fajr should be prayed delayed just before sunrise, and Asr should be prayed delayed about half an hour before Maghrib. Dhuhr should be prayed early, Maghrib early, and Isha delayed. That's generally what they say. However, I would say look at your situation and, whatever time you can pray in, which is going to make it consistent for you to pray, and ideally with Jama'ah, then pray that time. Why are some prophets known as Ulil Azm? Ulil Azm. So there's nothing specific in Quran about why they were called Ulil Azm. There's 5 prophets that were called Ulil Azm. So there's specific of why they were called Ulil Azm. Azm means someone who was firm determination. And if you look in the stories of these prophets like Nuh alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, what you see in their life was they went through a lot of difficulties. Like the challenges that they went through compared to other prophets seem to be very, very distinct. So they were the people who were tested the most. They were the people who were challenged the most by their community and left behind like a very powerful legacy. I finished your Ajurumiyya Durus. I wanted to go through the Medina books and then the Tufat al-Saniyya and then Nahal Wadi. Is that good? That's excellent. Go for it, definitely. But I would say, Nabi, look, start reading Arabic books on your own. Some people say to me, "Oh, you know what, Ustad, I can't read Arabic books on my own." You can read them. I think that's a cop out. When people say, "I can't read, I haven't studied enough Nahu or this," I think it's a cop out because look at people who come from different countries and they come to the UK and they start speaking English within a few months. They don't even learn any grammar. They just put effort into it and they just start speaking with people. So you need to read books, honestly. Read Arabic books, story books, kids books, and you will develop yourself without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt, you'll develop yourself. Yeah, so go for it. Don't be scared, and just go for it. And you'll thank me after a few months of reading. You're gonna come to me and you make dua for me, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam. Zed ahlan wa sahlan. Sanga halde zama der khwale roar. Sanga chalde. Yes, my brother. We need to meet up again, man. Yeah, we need to meet up. Sufyan wants to do another trip. Yeah, Sufyan and the boys. So inshallah, I might do a road trip. Is it sunnah according to the Hanafis to raise your hands while making dua after Fard Salat? So after Fard Salat, it is not considered to be a sunnah according to the Hanafi school. Just raising your hand, just making dua is considered mustahab just generally in the day. But doing it after every Fard Salat is not considered to be something which is a sunnah mu'akkada. They say it's considered recommended. Yeah. And raising the hands is considered to be from the adab of dua. Galaxy, is it permissible to go to the Red Sea in Palestine? So I think you don't mean Red Sea. I think you mean the Dead Sea. Yeah, Dead Sea. Red Sea is in Egypt, so it's by Egypt, and the Dead Sea is the so some place area of destruction. So we don't know exactly where the destruction took place. If you ever been to, I've been to the Dead Sea. I've swum in it. It's about 4 or 5 miles long. It's like very, very long. Yeah, so it's just a natural phenomenon. If there was an adhab there, we don't know. Like pyramids, was there an adhab at the pyramids? Was there an adhab in the UK? Was there an adhab in other parts of the world? Like when the tsunami happened, was there an adhab there? What do you think about the Arabia Bene Yadayk books? It's good. I mean, I've taught you, but I think it's very slow. If you want to learn conversational Arabic, then it's good. Otherwise, I don't think it's good for someone who wants to learn Arabic quick. I've taught like volume 1 several times. Ibn Abidin in his Hashia mentioned that Sama is permissible as he gives the example of Sufi who would do this for spiritual upliftment. Do you have the text? If you can send me the text, then inshallah I can have a look at it, then get back to you on that. Which source says they are, or I have no idea. I think it's a weak narration somewhere. Watching Arabic cartoons too is good. Yeah, the ones that speak Fusha. I would agree to that as well. Were they sent worldwide? Yes. SpongeBob in Arabic. Oh, is there? Allah. I will read them, inshallah. You're welcome. Have you been abroad in Ramadan other than Palestine or Umrah? No, I haven't. I have not been. Have you, brother? Brother Zed? I don't know. Maybe this year I might see you might go somewhere. Check it out. See what's happening. And I'm normally working in Ramadan, so unless it's like holidays. Which Maturidi text would you recommend reading after Sabuni's Bidayah fil Usul? I don't know, I'm not too sure. I would say something like Al-Iji, Mawaqif, Sharh al-Mawaqif, Al-Iji. If you want to follow a good commentary of that, then definitely recommend Sheikh Hamza Karamali's series on that. Yeah, check that out. And Al-Aqidah Nasafiyah, which is supposed to be Aqidah Maturidiyah. Yeah. So that. And what else? Isharatul Maram. Yeah. That's also a good one. Which one to read? What acts to do and avoid to ensure a good death, inshallah? Just be good to Allah, be obedient to Allah, and stay away from sins. الدر المختار حاشد ابن عابدين رد المحتار أقول وهذا يفيد أن آلة اللهو ليست محرمة لعينها بل لقصد اللهو منها إما من سماعها ومن Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna have to check this text. Okay. أن آلة اللهو ليست محرمة. I'm just gonna do a quick search on Turath. See what Ibn Abidin says. So this is a text which I have to check because I'm not saying I don't trust you, brother. But sometimes what happens is texts are not quoted correctly. Okay, so let's check this out. So this is okay, رد المحتار. He says, okay, قول لمناسب. What's the text at the top? ومن ذلك ضرب النوبة للتفاخر فلو للتنبيه فلا بأس به كما إذا ضرب في 3 أوقات لتذكير 3 نفحات السور لمناسبة بينهما فبعد الأصل الإشارة إلى نفخة الفزع blah blah blah. Okay, that's okay. Okay. تكره أو لتغليظ الذنب. Okay, I have to read before that what it says. Okay, let's see what it says. So he says, صوت اللهو والغنى ينبت النفاق في القلب. The sound of lahu and ghina and music ينبت, it produces hypocrisy in the heart كما ينبت الماء. قلت وفي البزازية, it's mentioned in the book بزازية, استماع صوت الملاهي, listening to the sound of musical instruments كضرب قصب ونحو حرام are impermissible because of the hadith. استماع الملاهي معصية والجلوس عليها, listening to musical instruments is a disobedience, and جلوس عليها, sitting at them, is considered to be fisq. والتلذذ بها كفر أي بالنعمة is considered to be ungrateful to Allah's ni'mah. فصرف الجوارح, so then using your limbs إلى غير ما خلق, in other than what is been created for لأجله, are considered to be ungratefulness, acts of ungratefulness. فالواجب كل الواجب, so obligation is أن يجتنب, to stay away from these so that your ears don't hear them, because of the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ, he put his fingers in his ears when he heard musical instruments in the public. وأشعار العربي لو فيها ذكر الفسق, and even Arabic poems that contain words that are considered to be fisq, that are considered to be sinful, تكره, are considered makruh, sinful, أو لتغليظ الذنب, or لتغليظ الذنب, or this hadith has been mentioned to show the severity of the sin, كما في الاختيار, just like it's mentioned اختيار, أو الاستحلال, or if it's done out of istihlal, meaning the hadith is basically, the word kufr has been mentioned out of ni'mah or taghlid, or if it's done out of istihlal. ومن ذلك ضرب. Okay, so now let's look down at the bottom. Let's see what it says. It says قوله لتغليظ الذنب لذنب فبعد العصر أي بيان المناسبة فإن الناس بعد العصر يفزعون من أسواقهم إلى منازلهم وبعد العشاء وقت نومهم, because people after Asr, so basically in the community, are you allowed to blow the trumpet? There's a trumpet, are you allowed to blow it? He says you can blow it as long as it's not there for entertainment, but it's there to alert people, like a ringtone. يفزعون من أسواقهم, they go from their markets to their homes, and after Isha is a time of sleep, and that's the time of the minor death. So these 3 trumpet horn blows are to remind people of the 3 trumpet blows that are going to take place. أقول وهذا يفيد, and all of this means that آلة اللهو, that an instrument ليست محرم العينية, is not considered to be haram in and of itself, بل rather لقصد اللهو, if it's used for entertainment purposes, إما من سامعها, either if it's a person who's listening to it, أو من مشتغل بها, or the person who is playing them, وبه تشعر, and with this إضافة, attributing it to them, ألا ترى أن ضرب تلك الآلة, striking these instruments بعينها حل تارة, are halal sometimes and haram sometimes, باختلاف النية, according to the niyyah, بسماعها, when listening to it, والأمور بمقاصدها, and the general maxim is that matters are considered according to their ultimate outcome. وفيه دليل لسادنا الصوفية, and in this is a dalil for our honorable Sufis, الذين يقصدون أمورا هم أعلم بها, when they intend certain matters which they are familiar with. فلا يبادر المعترض, so a person should not hasten to object and reject the Sufis, كي لا يحرم بركتهم, so that they are not deprived of their barakah. فإنهم السادة. Yeah, so he seems to incline towards as long as there is a purpose for it, and that's what Sheikh Abdul Ghani Nabulsi says as well. As long as there's a purpose, so you're not playing them to get sort of like a buzz out of it, but there is some sort of purpose, like a ring doorbell. You have some musical sound, or you have a ring on your phone. Yeah, it's not there to get a buzz out of it. It's just there to listen as in to know if someone's calling you. Where to find SpongeBob in Arabic? I don't know. Maybe Google it. No, I was thinking of going Morocco. Oh, right. Maybe one day we should, What do you think, bro? Do like a chakkar, do like a nice spiritual chakkar. Go there, have a nice Sheikh, come Fez with us in Ramadan. When you guys going? Contact me and let me know. I'll see if I got holidays. Otherwise, I'm working in Ramadan. On YouTube, Arabic, Nickelodeon, SpongeBob is there. Nothing is specific, bro. Just to check out the site, some of the Zawiyas, Qarawiyin, and the food, of course. But in Ramadan, you're going to be tired. You're going to be exhausted. It's going to be hot as well. How many times trumpets will angels Israfil blown? So some say 2 and some say 3. There's ikhtilaf amongst the scholars. How many languages do you know? I know I can speak and read fluently 4 languages. 4 fluent I can. And then besides that, there's some extra like languages I can understand. So I can speak English, obviously, and write Pashto, Urdu, and Arabic. These are 4 that I alhamdulillah, I know. And then besides that, there's some others like I can understand a lot of Farsi, and I can understand quite a bit decent amount of Punjabi, and then there's like other kind of those languages. I know some Swazi Bengali as well. And I'm gonna go off Insta. Okay. Yeah, Allah. Right. In the school Easter holidays. You know what? Yeah, I'll see. Because I've got some talks as a problem. I've got some talks lined up that I promised. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. Are there a lot of Islamic books in Farsi? Yes. Yeah, so see, people tend to think Islamic books are only found in Arabic. Quran and Sunnah is in Arabic, of course, but there are lots of commentaries and discussions that have been done by scholars in various languages around the world. So, for example, like Farsi, there's a lot. Turkish, there's a lot. Sindhi, there's a lot. And even besides that, some other languages out there. For example, Indonesian. Yeah, Indonesian as well. Yeah, so I don't know what their local language is called, but apparently there's quite a lot of works done in that language as well. Yeah, Pashto, there's quite a few in Pashto as well, but not too many. The point is you don't have to read all of these. Yeah, the idea is that knowledge, obviously, if you study knowledge in Arabic, you don't need to study any other books. Do you most prefer Farsi, Urdu, Arabic poetry? Arabic poetry. Arabic poetry, definitely. I'm more familiar with Arabic poetry. Do you know some Afghani Farsi or Persian Farsi? I can understand quite a bit of it, but I can't speak it that much. During Ottoman Empire, some non-Muslim children were taken to be trained in the army and converted to Islam. How is this ruling of this in Islam? I don't know. Is it true? Is it an authentic report? Or is it just something that you've heard? Yeah, I don't know about this. I mean, if someone in Islam forced other people to accept Islam, maybe that happened, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it was a correct thing. So if this report is true, or is it like, because they could, just like there's authentic hadith and fabricated hadith, there's authentic Ottoman narrations and there's fabricated Ottoman narrations and there's da'if Ottoman narrations. So I don't know what this falls under. Wa alaikum assalam, boxing, mashallah, boxing. We met, bro. Yeah, we've met in real life, bro. Know what you look like now. I prefer to know what someone looks like. So if I know what someone looks like, it makes it easier for me to be able to sort of communicate with them. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys find the same? Yeah, sometimes like sometimes someone will come up to me, meet me and say, I come on your YouTube, and I'm thinking, I have no idea you look like this. Like, so sometimes, if I don't know you, you're gonna have to tell me this is me. After completing your 17 lessons on Arabic grammar, what will you recommend next to improve on the Arabic? What I would suggest is for a person to do the Surah Yasin, yeah, Surah Yasin course, or what they can do is start reading Arabic storybooks, kids' storybooks, start reading them. Yeah, that is very, very useful. The thing is, what you want to do is you want to try, your aim should be like have a particular book and say, my aim is to understand how to read this. And then you work towards it. And that gives you this kind of passion. I've had students who have done Quranic Arabic, and mashallah, they've put so much effort into after that into reading that they can now read books on their own. They're teaching people Arabic, even though they might not know all the rules of Arabic grammar, but they can teach Arabic. Yeah, read the books. So again, it's one of those kind of situations. All about passion. How much passion you put in, that's what you're going to get out of it. Okay. Both I always feel it is never the right time. I feel like Ramadan is coming or Dhul Hijjah. I feel like asking near times that are religiously important or people are preparing towards them, having older siblings, considering more. My parents never mentioned the topic of marriage. Yeah, that's the thing. So, I mean, you have to take that step. Honestly, it's going to hurt. It's going to be very, very embarrassing. But you have to somehow get someone, maybe send a letter or an anonymous letter to the house, and then they read it. You're going to have to do something because once that first hit, they're never gonna remember. Like people are scared of this. They think if I tell my parents I gotta get married for the rest of my life, it's gonna be stamped on my forehead that this shameful person at this young age wants to get married and is looking for a husband or she's looking for a wife. And they think the rest of don't. They don't. Parents are like that. Parents just remember it the first time you tell them. They'll get a bit shocked, and then they start saying, "You know what? I gotta do something." And then after that, they'll just once the spouse has been found, marriage is done, alhamdulillah, end of story, khatam. Yeah, it's over. And you look back and you think, oh, remember that time when I thought it was embarrassing to ask my parents about marriage. Yes, it's one of those ones. I've read the research in academia report from original documents. The children were taken instead of jizya. Okay, I don't know. Maybe some general decided that. So remember, historically, if a Muslim empire does something, that doesn't necessarily mean that represents Islam. So you got to differentiate between Muslims doing something. So people think like, remember telling you about Taliban. People think anything the Taliban do, we have to justify it. We have to stick up for them. We have to agree with them. And some people think the same for Ottomans. They think whatever the Ottomans done, 100% Ottomans were all truthful people, honorable. Yeah, Ottomans did bad things as well. Unfortunately, they had bad decisions that they made. The same with the Umayyads made bad decisions as well, and the Abbasis made bad decisions as well. No human is free of making bad decisions. But we should remember that should never ever make us feel as though that is a reflection of Islam. No, Islam is something which is pure, which is something that is just untainted. And we are the ones that unfortunately represent Islam and we give it a bad name. Is there a hadith narration which mentions towards the end of time people will no longer go for Hajj? Yes. Yeah, a time will come when Hajj will be stopped. AMQ, alaikum assalam. If you're unwell, is it better to ask Allah for long life or let Allah take you whenever He pleases Him? So generally, our Prophet ﷺ would teach us about shifa. So we would say that it's considered to be from the practice of the Prophet ﷺ that he would encourage people to seek shifa. That's why the Quran mentions about honey being shifa, yeah, and also about the Prophet ﷺ du'as, about asking for shifa, making dua of shifa for people. So it seems as though it's better to make dua for treatment and life. Okay, guys, I think I am gonna finish it there. Okay, Jazakumullah khair, guys, for the wonderful session. Make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and share my videos with others as well, so that other people benefit from them as well. Alhamdulillah. And we're almost at 100,000 followers, guys. Let's see how much it is. 97,481. Last month, 1,328 people, new people subscribed. 1,328. So 1,328 people subscribed, and we've got how much we've got left. So that's 97,481. That's about 2,519 to go. 2,519 waiting for to hit the 100,000 mark, and then we're gonna see what's gonna happen, inshallah. Is this because Iman will be lost or physical blockades? Physical blockades, most likely, yeah. And there's gonna be a whole load of things. Lots of things are gonna happen, not just one thing. There's gonna be like layers of problems that are gonna happen. Just like, did you see Hajj almost was cancelled in COVID? That's one thing we never imagined would happen. Jazakallah khair, Hamza. Do you have any advice for new YouTube channels looking to do basic da'wah about Islam? Any niche? Alaikum assalam. I would say, look, I would not encourage people to do da'wah. If you're not trained in da'wah, I would never encourage anyone to open a da'wah channel. It is a waste of time. In fact, you might even be getting more sin than even really think about this. If you really want to open a da'wah channel, really think. Speak to people who have da'wah channels. Speak to people who have been in the field for over 10 years. Speak to them about it. I would not encourage people to do it unless they are very skilled and they know what they're doing and they are knowledgeable people as well. Because a lot of people are just doing it because it's a trend now. It's like opening dessert shops. Everyone's doing, all Asians, just dessert shop. And it's not really beneficial. A lot of them are just rubbish. And it's the deen of Allah at the end of the day. If you really love Allah, if you really love the Prophet ﷺ, and you really have a ghairah of Allah's deen, of people speaking about Allah's deen in ways that could cause damage to others, then just think about it, I would say. But if you want to start a da'wah channel, I think the best thing to do to focus on is like what Sapiens is doing. Sapiens is probably doing one of the best da'wah channels out there. Focus on, the problem of LGBT, the problem of individualism, the problem of these isms. I think those are the best kind of things to focus on at the moment. Rather than opening a channel to debate Salafis or opening a channel to debate Deobandis or Brelvis, that's just a waste of time. I think there's more sin in that than there's benefit. We will celebrate, inshallah. We will. There are already physical blockades for Hajj. Saudis wish to take control of the Hajj process fully. Remember this, Hajj has been cancelled in the past. Remember that. So if you ever study the history of Hajj, you'll know that many times, things happen and Hajj was like cancelled. Yeah. So Hajj happened in the past as well. Much appreciated as always, Sheikh. You're welcome, Jundullah. MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. They have made the process very difficult since COVID. Yeah. Okay, guys. I will have to go now. I hope you guys have a fantastic time and enjoy yourself. And tomorrow, inshallah, I've got a dinner with the students in the evening. So, inshallah, I'll be enjoying that. I like going out with the students. Yeah, I know it's sometimes I think to myself, oh, I've got I could be using that time in a better way, maybe doing reading or maybe some other thing. But I always think to myself, time spent with students is time that Allah is going to reward me with, inshallah. Because what you're doing is you're building a bond between you and your students. And I think that's the most important thing a lot of teachers fail to have. They fail to have a bond with their students. So you teach your students, and then if you don't have a bond, outside of class bond, that they can relate to you in normal human things and see the human side of you outside of class, they can't see the emotional side of ilm. Emotional side of ilm comes from the outside of class more than, I would say, from my experience, more than sitting in front of a teacher. And if you just sit in front of a teacher, you can actually become very cold, very, very sort of like robotic, very emotionless, like that. And that is something which I don't like. Yeah. So stay in the company of your teachers, try to get time to sit with them, have tea with them, enjoy your time with them. You'll see the normal human side. You'll see how they function in their life as well. That's why I like spending time. So tomorrow, inshallah, I'll be there. And hopefully, and I've got bike ride as well tomorrow. And I've got lots of marking to do tomorrow as well. And I've got my weightlifting to do tomorrow as well. So that's my plan for the day, inshallah. Maybe make some videos, inshallah. All right, guys, take care. Inshallah, jazakallah khair to all of you wonderful, beautiful people. Let's just check Curious Cat if there's anything left in Curious Cat. No, nothing in Curious Cat. Alhamdulillah, answered all the questions. All right, guys, take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.